Blockbuster trade. Luka to LA, AD to Dallas. Who won this deal? Plus, Chiefs chasing history, Eagles aiming to stop them. Who's got the edge in the Super Bowl? Can Kellen Moore be the guy to lead the Saints? And the big debate, MVPs or championships? What matters more? It's all coming up next on Fitz Take. Well, what's good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into yet another episode of the Fitz Take podcast. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, but you know you can always call me Fitz. That man in boxes with me is Elijah Nixon, a.k.a. E-Money, a.k.a. the Pride of Connecticut. Guys, I want to thank y'all so much for subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed yet, we are encouraging you to subscribe to the channel as we're at, as of us recording this episode, 663 subscribers to the channel. So the road to 1,000 is getting closer and closer, but we're trying to press our way on to make sure that we get there. Be sure to also follow us wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow us on the podcast feed. That's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and also iHeartRadio, as you can listen to us there as well. Also follow myself, Elijah, and my production company, One Way Productions, on our social media platforms. That will be linked down in the description of this video on YouTube. If you're a listener, and just look us up on social media. Our handles are somewhere out there. It ain't too hard to find us, that's for sure. It's Super Bowl week. You ready for this, man?
I'm ready for it all, man. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be an unbelievable halftime performance. I'm just ready to experience it, man. I can't wait, man. I've been trying not to listen to Kendrick for like the last 2 weeks, but then today I brought it back up when I was cleaning, trying to get myself ready for the Super Bowl playlist, man. I'm ready for this, man.
It's going to be fun, man, as the Philadelphia Eagles are taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in a rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago. And we will talk about that in a minute. And that would have been our lead topic, but there's some bigger news that happened last night. And that will be our first take of the show as Luka Doncic. My God. Let me tell y'all something. I was taken aback by this news because I was just chilling on the couch and I got a push alert to my phone saying Luka going to LA. And I said, what is wrong with Dallas? And the Lakers have fleeced these boys. Shams Charania tweeting out at 11:12 last night, as of we're recording this episode, so that would have been Saturday night, that the Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick, as sources tell ESPN. It was a 3-team deal that includes the Utah Jazz. And everybody was like, bro, you got hacked. Like, they couldn't believe that this was happening. In fact, he got 82 million impressions, views off of that tweet alone. He quote tweeted his own tweet with the more details of the deal, and started it off by saying, yes, this is real. Sources tell ESPN full trade. Lakers get Luka, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris. Mavericks get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, 2029. Lakers first round. The Jazz get Jalen Hurts, Shafino, 2025. Clippers second, and a 2025 Mavericks second. So, Elijah, now that we are here on the show, man, what are your thoughts on this trade and who really won it? I mean, do the Lakers get what they need? Does Dallas finally have the big that can put them over the top and win a championship? What are your thoughts on the trade, man?
Man, at first I was like, man, this is somebody playing. This take the right time of night to be playing like this. But then, after watching, because I was watching, I'm a Knicks fan. I saw my Knicks get destroyed by the Lakers. Not thinking about anything after my phone buzzed when I seen the Luka was going to LA. My initial thought was, who did this? Who did this? Was this a LeBron call? Was this a Rob Pelinka call? Was Jason Kidd call? I didn't know what was going on, honestly. So I just thought, to myself, I don't know what this is. But then you start thinking about the rosters. You start to think to yourself, maybe it's Anthony Davis going over there to play some good defense and maybe they just thought that that's what's going to get them to the next level. And I saw that. But then as you take a deeper dive, this is what I really truly think. I think that Luka inconsistent being with his weight. I mean, I know we don't talk about it as much as we talk about Zion, but Luka had problems as well. And I think that with that being something, they felt like they probably don't take the game serious enough. And with that being said, let's move on before we have to pay them his X amount of dollars. I'm not sure what the max would have been. I think around
Supermax.
Supermax.
He was up for like a Supermax. I think it's like 200 and $300 million or some crazy number like that. And then I think Tim McMahon had reported that Luka had gotten up to like 270 pounds or something like that. And so they were, really, really worried about, like you said, like if he really, really was about doing this. But I don't know, man. Like the fat shaming is crazy because the brother still get buckets. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it, and I get that he's a professional athlete, and the expectation is for him to lean into it and to really be dedicated. But I don't know, man. But take off of what you were saying.
Yeah, man. So when you see that, when you start to think of that, they start to think like, okay, be real. Am I going to pay this guy $200-300 million and he don't take the game serious? So with that being said, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. And on top of that, LeBron is 40, okay? You have to start turning this paper sometime soon. You have to, think about this for a second, guys. LeBron did everything he could in the game. The Lakers, I feel like, did everything they could to please him. Go get Anthony Davis, go win this championship, make sure they get a bubble, make sure they play in the bubble because LeBron and the Lakers, they push that very heavy. Now, and then on top of that, you go draft Bronny. You did everything that you could to stand by LeBron. Now that he's getting older, it's time to to turn that page to get a new chapter going. Luka Doncic is 25. LA is always be LA. And if you think about it in the sports world, you have to compete with I'm not saying the Clippers are up there, but you got to compete with the Clippers, USC, basketball and football. UCLA women's basketball is coming up. The Rams and the Chargers. I'm not saying LA is not the dominant one out of all of those things, but the Lakers are the Lakers, and they have to keep that brand. So with that being said, 25-year-old turning the page with somebody like that, I think that's what they were thinking. I'm not saying this is a championship move. I'm not saying this is a move that was bad on their part, but I think this is a move that sets them up for what could come next in the near future. And for the Mavericks, I don't see that being a championship trade. No offense to Anthony Davis. I love Anthony Davis. But again, I'm just for the guard play, Kyrie's really, really good, but Kyrie was a Batman to Luka. So who will be the Batman to Anthony Davis, or will Anthony Davis be the Superman and Kyrie? I don't know how that work out, but we have to see that for ourselves. But I think the Lakers won this trade if we're talking about for the future, only for the simple fact that they have to turn this page from LeBron, and the Lakers can honestly win in free agency because who doesn't want to play with Luka in the near future?
Yeah, man. I absolutely agree with you. Luka is a 25-year-old, multiple-time All-Star, led the Mavs to the NBA Finals, did everything he needed to do on his end. Now, in terms of the weight, I get it. You want your star player to be in tip-top shape, but if you can put the ball through the hoop the way he can, brother, you be my 600-pound life for all I care. Make that shot. You know what I'm saying? Make the shot. But, a lot of things unfolding as we go along as well. We're hearing that the general manager of the Mavs, I think is Nico Anderson is his name. Nico Harrison, excuse me. Nico Harrison only went to the Lakers. It was, hey, y'all want him? What's up with it? And they was like, sure. We'll take a 25-year-old perennial generational talent. We absolutely will take that, as we have a 40-year-old top 2 all-time best player in the world on our team. We will absolutely take that. And what do you want? Anthony Davis? Here. Thank you. Pleasure doing business with you. But the fallout from this is going to be crazy because Nico Harrison acted alone. Jason Kidd knew nothing about this. He admitted it in the press conference that he had in their pregame media availability here on Sunday. before the Mavericks proceeded to lose by 43 points in that game post Luka, but that's neither here nor there. But for your general manager to make that type of trade, it says that he did not believe that Luka was going to be what they needed going forward, which is crazy. The Lakers absolutely won this trade. They fleeced, they robbed them, they mugged them, whatever, bagged them, whatever word you want to call it. They absolutely are the winners of this trade because now LeBron essentially, I mean, he was already becoming that, but he is truly now a bridge star. All right, Luka, here the keys to the car. I can take a back seat. Now, instead of having to put up 30 and 28 and all of that, I can drop a smooth 15 and 10. Give you the ball, let you drop 40. Because, brother, you done dropped 70 before. So, I don't know, man. Very, very wild times that we're in here in the NBA as we're approaching closer to the All-Star break. And honestly, y'all, like, we're slowly shifting towards NBA action and talking about it and all that stuff. But originally we were going to talk about NBA All-Star snubs. And this trade happened and we was like, what? Gotta talk about this. Gotta talk about this. Because this is one of them ones of where you when it happened moments type of trade. So Luka is heading out to LA and is going to team up with LeBron. We're talking about potential lineups post Luka AD trade. For the Mavericks is going to be potentially Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Quentin Grimes, Anthony Davis, and Daniel Gafford. Meanwhile, the Lakers will have Luka, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Jackson Hayes. So the Unks are getting together for the cookout in Dallas, and the future is looking really, really bright in LA. So we'll keep our eye on that as the NBA is going to start heating up more post All-Star break in that. So with that, guys, we're going to move forward to take number 2. And like we said, it is Super Bowl week. And a lot of excitement is going to be happening down in the Big Easy. And we will be there in the house for what will be a huge moment in the matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, where the Chiefs will be trying to make history as the first franchise in the Super Bowl era to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls back to back to back. Meanwhile, Philly will be trying to dethrone the champions. Elijah, obviously, we're not making predictions just yet because we'll probably do that before the game in some kind of stream or however we see fit. But what does Kansas City need to do in order to three-peat? And then what do the Eagles need to do to dethrone the champs?
Kansas City just need to play their brand of football. Honestly, I just feel like, Kansas City lost a handful of games last year and only one game this year because they beat themselves. Honestly, I don't think that, and a lot of teams are better than them. I just think this team aura they have where they don't make mistakes, not too many of them, and they don't give another team to capitalize off of that. So even against the Buffalo Bills, I think in the AFC Championship game, the fumble that Patrick Mahomes lost, that was their first turnover since they played Buffalo earlier that year. So again, they don't turn over the ball a lot. They make sure they sustain drives, they keep things going, and they make sure they capitalize by getting points off of those long drives or for other teams' mistakes. So all they got to do is just play their brand of football. Kansas City don't need Patrick Mahomes to come out and throw 5 touchdowns and 500 yards. They don't need that. Play the brand of football, win the game, get out of there. Okay, I think that's Kansas City. Now for Philadelphia just need to be Philadelphia. Like, I think everybody will expect somebody to be like, Jalen Hurts got to have this amazing. No. Saquon Barkley got to have 300. No. They don't. All they have to do is be Philadelphia. What got them here is that they know how to run the football, put points on the board, and again, sustain drives. The only difference is for them, I think that they have to create turnovers, which they have been doing all year. They have been getting turnovers all year. If they can if Philadelphia gets 3 turnovers in this ball game, they win this game. 3. They have to get 3, not 1, not 2, but 3. If Philadelphia gets 3, they win this game because they know how to, grab the ball out the air. They know how to punch the ball out a runner's hand. They know how to, capitalize off of what, the laziness of what an offense can bring. So Philadelphia doesn't have to do anything spectacular. They don't. All they have to do is what they did all year, to create turnovers and play their style of play. I think Philadelphia could win that game. But like I said, with Kansas City, all they have to do is not beat themselves. So if Kansas City beat themselves, they will lose. If Philadelphia don't cause a turnover that Kansas City allowed, Philadelphia will win. So it's just playing that brand of football. Turnovers will be the key thing for me for both sides.
Yeah, man. And the turnover battle is always what it ultimately boils down to in big games. For me, the Eagles, in order for them, or excuse me, for Kansas City, in order for them to win, they got to keep Saquon Barkley in between the tackles. We know that he can run inside, outside, all over the field. But I feel like if you let that brother get out in space, you're setting yourself up to lose the game. I think all of the touchdowns, that he played, or that he scored against the Commanders, were runs where he either broke to the outside or it was going inside and then he bounced it outside. So all your guys that are in positions where they're going to be set to set the edge, whether that's a defensive end, whether that's a safety rolling down in the box, whether that's a corner on the backside of a, tight formation, whatever it is, brother, your job is to make sure you force him back in there to where everybody else is, to where he can be tackled. If you can keep him, because chances are he still might rush for 100 yards, but keep him at 100 yards. Don't let him get 200 yards. Don't let him get 180 yards. Don't let him get that big play. Don't let him get that 60-yard, that 70-yard touchdown that can essentially be a knockout punch to you. Keep him where he's contained in the box, and you know what I'm saying? And that's easier said than done, because we know Steve Spagnuolo loves to bring pressure in different instances. We saw what he was able to do to Josh Allen there on that 4th and 5 that essentially sealed the ball game in the AFC Championship game. However, you have to contain Saquon Barkley in the box. Don't let him bounce it outside. And the more that you can keep them in 3rd and long or 2nd and long situations, keep them away from the tush-push situations, and force Jalen Hurts to beat you one-on-one. Like, if I lose the Super Bowl because Jalen Hurts had the game of his life, I'm okay with that. You're not finna let Saquon Barkley run wild, buck wild on this field, and Jalen Hurts be hitting me over the top with a play-action pass to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You're not going to do that. That ain't going to happen, because I'm going to find a way. I don't care if we got to run engage 8. Saquon is not finna go off in this game. Jalen Hurts, you're going to have to beat me. As far as the Chiefs, they have to get Travis Kelce involved very early. I believe that, like we've said before, he's not creating a whole lot of separation and blowing by you with blazing speed, or having, the style of play that he was used to having in years past. But he is still a very, very vital piece to that offense. I think if you can get him the football very early on, that's going to open everything else up. We know Xavier Worthy is kind of like your next step of being a Tyreek Hill like wide receiver, but Travis Kelce is a huge focal point to what that offense has been able to do. So I think I said what the Chiefs need to do to stop Philly, and then Philly, what they need to do is get 15 off his spot as many times as possible. Don't let him get comfortable back in that pocket. You need to put hands on him. And for them, that's going to be a lot easier done than said, because we know what type of dogs they got up front. All y'all boys up front, it's time to eat. And I ain't talking about just getting back there and tapping him. You need to hit him. I ain't saying hurt him, but you need to get back there and you need to make him uncomfortable. You need him talking to the refs early on. Hey man, they tearing me up back here. They tagging me back here. You need to have him second guessing and seeing ghost. Because as long as he's able to sit back there in the pocket and feel comfortable, it's going to be a long day for you as a Philadelphia Eagle, if that's what's ahead for you. So it should be a fun one, man, as the Super Bowl will be a really, really great matchup between the Chiefs and Eagles, like we said, and we will be in the house for Super Bowl. Is this 59, 51? I can't remember. One of them numbers. I don't be knowing all the numbers like that. It's the Super Bowl. It's the granddaddy of them all. It's the biggest sporting event of. Forget it. You know what I'm saying? So,
I don't know what number it is.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be super fun, and being in the city of New Orleans, we know that it's gonna be a lot of good food out there as well. So, Elijah, you got something for us to talk about when it comes to some of the food places out there in New Orleans? So you got the floor, man.
Yeah, man. So myself and Fitz, and we have been out there plenty of times, and Fitz been out there to a few more restaurants than I have, right? But New Orleans is going to be fun for a lot of people to experience. There's going to be a lot of restaurants out there for people to go try. As we were just talking off camera, Fitz brought it to my attention that there's a lot more local than national restaurants that's out in the city for you to try. So with that being said, I'm going to say a couple of them. Some may be national, some may be local, or that you heard of before. Other ones you probably never heard of, I should say, excuse me. Fitz is going to tell me if he thinks that is overrated or underrated. Here we go, Fitz. Let's start off with everyone knows from Princess and the Frog, Cafe Du Monde.
Man, beignets to me are very, very regular. Like, ain't there's like it's like a flat powdered donut. You know what I'm saying? I've never found anything to be special about it. I think it's overrated. I think it's just, I'm in New Orleans, I'm gonna get some beignets. You know what I mean? I don't think that it's anything that you need to write home about, but it's just beignets to me. I'd rather something else. I'll pass on Cafe Du Monde.
Do you have you had it before though, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So do you have like a drink? You had a drink to go with it. Like what would be your beverage to go with it? Because I got cussed out when I had chocolate milk. I thought chocolate milk was the thing.
I don't know, man. I think people say like it goes well with coffee and all that stuff like that, but it's just like it's a messy dish to eat because you got all the powdered sugar on top of it. So you bite into it, and now you got powdered sugar all on your leg and all on the side of your face and all this stuff like that. Like, bro, ain't nobody trying to deal with all of that. No, I'm good. I'm good.
All right. So what about Up and Adam?
Up and Adam is my spot, man. They are they off Canal? I think they're off Canal, if I'm not mistaken. Really, really good breakfast spot. We stumbled across them. I want to say me and my wife. One time we were out there in New Orleans. I think it was after the Drake concert that we were out there. Like anytime I go to a city and we visited, I'm finna go and I'm gonna type in whatever city restaurants, black people. In that order. Sue me. I don't care. I'm gonna put that in there so I can see all of the black-owned restaurants first. Then I'm gonna see all the tourist attraction restaurants, and then I'm probably gonna go to the black-owned ones. I'm sorry, but that was one of them that came up, and it did not disappoint. I think normally when I go there, or the few times that I've been there, the first time I went, I got something called a chop bowl, which is basically like a breakfast bowl. It's like potatoes, eggs, sausage, but then they put like a crawfish cream sauce on top of it. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, it's fire. So they're really, really good. It's like in a like an old house or something like that. You can tell that it's because it's in the middle of a neighborhood, so you can tell that there used to be a house. Really, really good spot.
What about Willie's Chicken?
Overrated. It's in the middle of Bourbon Street. People are drunk. They hungry. You need something to sober up. You get some greasy fried chicken. There's nothing incredible about it. I've had it before. I've been out there. And it's also like them prices is going to fluctuate, because when we go out there for the Super Bowl, a 3-piece might be $30. I ain't gonna lie. It's going to be a little expensive. I can tell you that. So I mean, it's chicken. It ain't nothing life changing or nothing that I hadn't eaten before. So I'm gonna have to go overrated on that one.
Okay. What about scrambled?
Scrambled. That's another one of my breakfast spots there. I can't remember the exact location, but I remember it's in like a white building, and they have this French toast that they have on the menu. And I showed Elijah a picture of it. I can't remember if I made a TikTok of it or not. So I can't point y'all to it on my social medias. But bro, when I tell you this French toast is as big as a laptop, and his brother set this on the table, I said, "Who all this for, man? I didn't know what all this. I didn't know what all this. What you bringing to me this for?" They said, "This you, Paul. This you, boss. This what you ordered." And me, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking on the menu and I see French toast. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna want more than that. So let me get some scrambled eggs and some, pan sausage, right? They bring the eggs and pan sausage out. I'm like, okay, cool. They brought that French toast out. I said, I don't think I'm gonna need that other stuff. You can go ahead and give me the go box for that. You go ahead and hand me that. But I'm telling you, I think I ate like maybe 1/5, 1/4 of it. And I had that for breakfast for maybe like the next 2-3 days. Because it was just like, it's crazy. So very, very underrated spot. Y'all go check them out.
And then I got Monday
Nola, man. Keith Lee went out there, I want to say last year. So they gonna get a lot of hype. To me, it reminds me a lot of the way KOK is. They got the little outside setting and all that stuff like that. They got the grass wall. The little grass wall. You can go up there with the light, the words lit up on the background where you can go and take a picture and all that stuff. When I went, it was really, really good. I hadn't been back since, so I can't really speak to over or underrated, but it was good to me when I went. I know some people might say otherwise, especially with a lot of the popularity that they've gotten because of the Keith Lee effect. But now they were a really solid spot.
And then you got Herb Saint.
Yeah, that's another spot that me and my wife went to. We went there for our anniversary, and I got I think it was some duck that I had on my for my entree. And I'm telling you, see, a lot. That's why a lot y'all can't listen to Elijah because his food palette consists of cheeseburgers and sandwiches. Anybody that goes to a restaurant and they specialize in something else, and he go, "Let me get a sandwich." You can't trust him. You can't trust him. His opinion don't count in this one. I'm telling you, that duck, whatever duck they shot out the air and cooked. Rest in peace, brother. But you had to get ate that day. I'm sorry. That was that duck was delicious. It was seasoned down to the bone. It was fire. It was fire.
And then my last one. I know it's closed down now, but we tried it. Nola K.
Yeah, that was a really good spot too. Shout out to Megan for putting us on to there, despite the fact that they were closing down. I think like a week or two afterwards. I think they're somewhere in downtown New Orleans. They were really good. I had got some braised oxtail and grits. Whew. Jesus, I love grits anyway. So if you can find a way to put something with it and pair it, sign me up for that. Get catfish and grits, shrimp and grits, oxtail and grits. Whatever, sign me up for that. I'll take that. I'm with all of that.
Now, before we close this topic, people going to New Orleans this week. What would you say out of that list? What are the 3 spots that people should hit? That's tourists that's coming in for the Super Bowl, or those guys. What do you think what 3 spots they should try to go on that list?
Ooh, I'm gonna give another spot some shine. Shout out to my guy out there at Weedats. They got a lot of popularity back when Anthony Davis was still playing there. And it's like the brow special. I think it was like catfish and shrimp or something like that is on the menu. They're a really, really good spot. I think he has a brick and mortar near downtown, really not too far from the Superdome, if I'm not mistaken. And then also he has a spot there in inside the mall there out in New Orleans. So I'm gonna say there. I'm gonna say for like breakfast, go try either scrambled or up and Adam, and then if you're feeling fancy, go to Herb Saint. Go to Herb Saint. So that's what I would say, man. But trust me, the list is way more extensive than that. if we post this on our socials, we gonna tag Seth Lewis down in the comments because every time I look at that brother's story, he didn't go on somewhere different. So I know he's definitely got a lot of recommendations, and he lives out there and is a native of the city, so he always knows what's some good spots out there to have in terms of eating places. So it'll be fun, man. Can't wait to get out there for the biggest game of the year. It's gonna be a lot of fun. That's your Super Bowl dance.
My Super Bowl dance, bro. I'm ready.
I got you, man. I got you, man. Well, moving to our next take here in the show, talking about the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, somebody who will be coaching in that game, is Kellen Moore, who is kind of the finalist, the main guy that the Saints want to hire. A couple of days ago, NFL Network reported that the Saints plan to meet again with Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore after the Super Bowl. He is a strong sign that he's the top candidate for the team's head coaching job. Under the NFL rules, the sides can't meet or speak again until after the game, which is February 9th in New Orleans. And then it's Tom Pelissero, I think is how you pronounce his name, but he works there for NFL Network, and he did the sideline reporting for the Senior Bowl. He did an interview there with Jack Bech, did a good job with that. He tweeted after quote tweeting his own tweet saying that Saints general manager Mickey Loomis informed other candidates that morning that while there has not been a final decision made, he plans to continue discussions with Kellen Moore. Moore has been working on his staff, but he can't be officially hired until after the Super Bowl and another meeting afterwards. So, Elijah, we've seen how this race for the head coaching job for the Saints has went. You had Aaron Glenn in the mix. He said no. You had Mike McCarthy in the mix. He bagged out. Cliff Kingsbury didn't want to interview for it. Joe Brady said no. So Kellen Moore is kind of the last man standing in this two-step or tango or whatever dance you want to call it. So if he takes this job, is Kellen Moore the answer for the Saints as a head coach?
No, he just somebody that just got the job. Somebody that just that was like, well, we got to get somebody in here. Got to get somebody in here. And the thing is, I like Kellen Moore. I don't think he's a bad person. I don't think he's the best play caller, but I don't think he's a bad play caller at all. But is he the answer? No. New Orleans needs somebody that's going to go in there and change the culture around. I'm not saying go bite kneecaps off Dan Campbell. I'm not saying go in there and, try to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, what Ben Johnson said. They need somebody to go in there and say, listen, man, this is what we're going to be. This is how we're going to do it. And this is what we can do once we follow these guidelines. Now, Kellen Moore, I'm not, like I said, I don't really, never really heard him speak. I don't know if he can control the room or not. But that's what the Saints would need. Do I think he's the answer? No. But do I think that he deserves an opportunity? I do. So with that being said, with him being in New Orleans and possibly getting his first chance at a head coaching position, I hope New Orleans, which we always talked about, give him an extensive amount of time because they're already in the salary cap. They're the worst part salary cap. I don't think their roster is up to par right now. So I just think that these guys got to give Kellen Moore a chance. Now, with that being said, for Kellen Moore, I hope that you go in there and you demand a room as soon as you walk in there. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Go in there, demand a room, say this is what our expectations are. This is how we raise the bar to be in New Orleans, because you can't be ran over, man. These players in the NFL, if you don't got their attention or they don't think you got their best interest, they will run all over you. Ask Dennis Allen. So what I'm saying is, in that point, is you need to go ahead and establish what the culture will be, establish what the bar will be set at, establish what the what accountabilities that you have for guys that come late to practice, late to meetings and stuff like that. You need to already have that stuff established. Put that out there and let them know this is how the Saints are going to do this. And then, boom, I say go from there. So I don't think you're the answer, but I do think this could get you another head coaching job in the near future, depending on how you take those next steps of leading the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be interesting to see what he can do. Fun fact: I didn't know that he is the winningest quarterback in NCAA history with a 50-3 record back when he played as a quarterback at Boise State. So, I mean, I know it's not the NFL, but obviously he is a winner. So I'm gonna lead with that. What he can do with the offense is to be seen. Obviously, his main thing is going to be obviously he's an offensive minded guy, and everybody's saying that that's what the Saints need, and I get it. But it's about what is he going to do as a leader? Is he a leader of men? Is he a motivator? Is he a scheme guy? Is he a recruiter? Like what is the way that he can handle things, especially when he's coming into this situation behind the 8 ball? Because like I said, I think it was last week, the Saints are $60 million over the cap. So you're not making no splash free agency pickup. You're not about to go and sign a bookend tackle. It's not going to happen. So you're going to have to either take the pieces and play with the cards that you're dealt, or you're going to have to be able to be really, really good at scouting, building up a scouting department, creating a staff to go and find guys that are good enough that can play for you as rookies and can make things happen very early on. Now, with that being said, Mickey Loomis, I think with him making this type of hire, if it is Kellen Moore for sure, if it's not Kellen Moore, if it's Mike Kafka, if it's Anthony Weaver, whoever, he is going to have patience, a certain level of patience with that coach, because there is no way if they go 3-14, 4-13, 5-12 that you can say you didn't do your job, because he could turn around and say, brother, you didn't, because y'all $60 million over the cap. You put me behind the 8 ball. You can't blame me for missing the shot when you the one that positioned the ball where it is. It don't work like that. Now I know that coaches are normally the ones that get most of the blame, coaches and general managers. But we know Mickey Loomis is probably not going anywhere because of how he is ingrained into the Benson family will and how long he's been there, and he's tenured and all of those things like that. They don't want to get rid of him. But we have kind of heard that he has been the common denominator in a lot of instances. Aaron Glenn reportedly said, hey, I'll come here. I'm not worried about the cap, but y'all got to get old boy out of here. They ain't want to do it. Aaron Glenn goes to New York. Joe Brady was in your building a few years ago and said, I'm going to stay out here in the cold with Josh in Buffalo. I know y'all play indoors, but I'm going to stay where I'm at because I got a better situation going on here. Cliff Kingsbury obviously probably deserves an opportunity with the way that he did things with Jaden Daniels as an offensive coordinator. Said, I'm good here with Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels for another season because ain't no more good jobs out there. Right? So Mickey Loomis is going to have patience with Kellen if it turns out to be him. Will he be the answer? I think he can be. I think he can get the Saints to not the 12-5, 13-4, 14-3 standard that they might be used to. But I think he can win the NFC South. If he does it at 9-8, 10-7, 11-6, I think you're heading in the right direction. Because in a lot of instances, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Saints were one score away from beating Philly. So this team is not far off. It's just going to boil down to coaching. So we'll see what kind of leader of men that Kellen Moore is going to be, and if he will become the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. We will keep our eyes on that situation as it continues to develop, and we find out who will be the leader of the New Orleans Saints. So, guys, now it is time to round out the show with our Fitz take, and we are discussing which is more important. Is it MVPs or is it championships? I know this topic kind of came up because Cam Newton was on First Take last week, and Stephen A was alluding to, he was saying that I have a guy here on the set that has played in a Super Bowl and has won an MVP, and he said, I'm sure that he would want to trade his MVP for a championship. And Cam said, no, I would not. So this now brings that topic up for us as well. So Elijah, for you, is it championships that's more important, or is it MVPs and individual accolades that mean so much more?
Give me the championships, man. I like MVPs. I like, to be noticed and things of that nature, but give me the championships because no offense to anyone, but Peyton Manning won 4 or 5 MVPs. We don't even talk about him as much as we put Tom Brady in that list. As much as they put, some people would put Joe Montana before Peyton Manning. Statistically, I know we talk about MVPs a lot. MVPs usually go to the quarterback. It goes there to the guy that can throw the ball, have great numbers. Cam had heck of a season, a 15-1 season. Beautiful, beautiful numbers when they got to the Super Bowl. He won MVP because, of course, Calvin Benjamin went down, I think, towards ACL, and he, quote unquote, didn't have anybody to throw to. So with that being said, I think that, him leading the offense to what I think was over 30 points a game they were scoring, that was real notable. But you know what else was notable? The defense. The defense was ranked 6th in the league. They had Luke Kuechly, and they had Josh Norman, who had his best year. I think he was on the contract that year. I think that was his contract year. Had his best year. That defense was really good. Defense was so good that if let's fast forward to the Super Bowl, where they played against Nick, that defense was so good that it held Peyton Manning to under 150 yards passing, 1 interception, and under 60 completion percentage. On the other side of that, Cam Newton was the same way, under a 60 completion percentage. We all look at this like, oh, okay, well, he just had a bad game. That one bad game cost him a Super Bowl. If you could trade that whole entire year and you could win the Super Bowl because of more of a team of success, I would take that Super Bowl because at the end of the day, it wasn't just one person that got somebody there. It was a team success deal that got him there. As you can see in today's world with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, those two guys had the heck of a year, but they didn't even make the playoffs because the team didn't do it. Now Jamar Chase had numbers where he could have been an MVP, and so did Joe Burrow. But we didn't even mention those guys. Want to know why? Because they're winning. Josh Allen was winning. Lamar Jackson was winning. And, you could throw Saquon in there because they were winning. But they had numbers. So, again, the MVP to me goes to the best team and the best player on that team. And I think that's why I say the championships are more important because the championships, everybody get to see that instead of just one person hoisting this one trophy that everybody that race could have went either way with anybody, where the championship, you hosting that championship where you did your job and so did everybody else did their job so you can get what was the ultimate goal. Now, again, I'm not saying anything wrong about MVPs and want people that want to win it and boast about it, but give me the championships, man, because that's what it's all about anyway. I want to win. The MVP's going to come with it, but I want the championship. And, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the championship.
Al Davis said it best, man. Just win, baby. Just win. In this game, in all of sports, man, ain't nobody playing no games just to say that I want to win a personal trophy. Everybody is playing this game to say at the end of the season, after all of these practices, all of these moments where I done fought, bled, sweated, cried, that at the end of the season, I get to lift whatever trophy that is, the Stanley Cup, the NBA championship, the Lombardi, whatever it is, the national championship. Like, bro, what are we talking about? Like, MVPs are important. They are, because those, in my opinion, can get you in position to be considered a Hall of Famer. It gets you there. It really does. And I know from a cultural impact perspective and all of those things like that, we talk about a guy like an Allen Iverson We call him the answer. A phenomenal athlete, but he doesn't have a championship. And that's why when it comes to conversations of top 1, 2, 3 basketball players of all time, AI's name is rarely brought up. Because even though a championship is a team sport, it's at the highest regard because that's what you play for. It's not about participation anymore. We left that back on the playground. Not everybody gets a cookie and a ribbon anymore. Now you get served wins and losses. Either you win it all or you're back at home. You either playing in the Pro Bowl skills game or you in New Orleans hoisting the Lombardi at the end of the season. That's what it all boils down to. And, you know, personal accolades, like I said, man, it puts you in a great position. But championships are what make dynasties. We're not talking about the Patriots. If they're not winning championships, they just be the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls. Phenomenal team. Thurman Thomas, Jim Kelly, Andre Rison, Andre Reid. I might be saying his name wrong. It was like phenomenal team. Great people. Hall of Famers. Rightfully so, because of what they did as individuals and doing their parts to try to get their teams there. But the reason that the Bills aren't a part of the conversation as a dynasty, they're not in the same conversation as like what the Chiefs are trying to go and do, is because they went to 4 straight and they lost all 4 of them. And I know that you look at it and you say, well, I did my job. That's cool. But in a team sport, bro, you can score 100 points on the basketball court and still lose. You can throw for 8 touchdowns and still lose. So not only do you need to be at your very best, but you need to make sure that as a teammate, your team is at their very best too. Because ain't nothing worse than being out on a play and 10 guys do their job and 1 guy messes up. Ain't nothing worse. So championships over MVPs, man. And coming from somebody, I've never played professional sport, but the only championship game that I ever played in was the state championship game in 2013 when I was a junior in high school. C.E. Bird High School, playing against Archbishop Rummel. And we lost that game by 1 point, right? We had a ton of guys that went on and had success playing college football at whatever levels. But I guarantee if you go to any one of them guys, they would trade whatever for 2 more points to win that game and for us to be champions, because people remember championship teams. We still talking about the 2000 Ravens. The Cowboys are chasing the ghost of the 90s because they won championships, not because Emmitt Smith was the leading rusher or Michael Irvin was balling out or Troy Aikman was positioning himself to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. It's because they won championships. So give me a chip, bro. Give me a chip. And I ain't talking about Frito-Lay. Give me a chip all day long. So, but that's our take about that, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all let us know what you think down in the comments. Is it a championship that's more important, or is it the individual awards? Elijah, do you have anything else, man, as we're getting ready for the Super Bowl, bro?
Heck yeah, man. I can't wait for the halftime performances I said at the beginning. But I do want to say this too, though. What's up with the NFL, man? Sending these games overseas, man. I just seen the Rams and the Eagles going to be playing in Australia. Man,
They're trying to become an international brand, man. They're competing with
Jaguars versus the Patriots. We just gave y'all a game in the snow, one of the best games in the snow.
Nah, man.
And y'all want to send us over there?
They are asserting their dominance as the best league across the board. We saw that they dominate Christmas Day. We saw them numbers already, right? Now they're saying we're gonna become international, just like basketball is. The NBA been doing this. Luka Doncic, one of the best players in the league. Nikola Jokic. You talking about maybe top 1, 2, 3 best players in the league are from overseas, right? The NFL is trying to start phasing some of that stuff in and expand their brand even more so. Already making billions and billions of dollars. I'm not against it, bro. I'm not against it.
I'm not against just sitting to other people. I'm not trying to wake up at 9 a.m. to watch the Eagles.
Oh, you worried about it from a fan perspective, man. They trying to get that money on.
Yeah, man. Like send the Dolphins versus the Jets.
Nah,
I know ain't nobody wants to see that in America. But go ahead and send that over there, man.
They trying to get that money. Let people get their money.
I know they're doing it because that's where the left tackle from Jordan Mailata. So
let them people get their money, man. Well, guys, that is going to do it for us for this edition of the Fitz Take Podcast here in episode 27. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you've made it to this point in the video, please hit the bell down below and hit the subscribe button. If you have, we greatly appreciate y'all. Also, go ahead and follow us wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And finally, follow myself, Elijah, and my production company, One Way Productions, on our social media platforms that are linked down in the description. Signing out for yet another episode of the Fitz Take Podcast. For Elijah Nixon, I'm Jamarcus Fitzpatrick. We will see you guys at the Super Bowl. Thank you so much for watching this clip of the Fitz Take Podcast. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. And remember, every episode of the Fitz Take Podcast will air right here on the YouTube channel every Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.